Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Nathan Nerd _67. Thanks for the suggestion, Nathan. You asked, how do microchips actually work? Microchips are the tiny silicon geniuses powering everything from your phone to your laptop, silently flipping billions of switches every second like they're running the world's smallest but most chaotic light show. So stay tuned as we crack open the microscopic world of transistors, wiring, and silicon sorcery, right here on Explaining Everything. At the heart of every microchip is silicon, the Beyoncé of semiconductor materials. Why silicon? Because it's everywhere, literally. Sand, rocks, old electronics. It shows up like glitter on New Year's. And more importantly, silicon is a semiconductor, which basically means it can switch between acting like a metal conducting electricity and an insulator blocking electricity. In other words, it's the electrical equivalent of someone who can be introverted or extroverted, depending on the situation. When silicon is processed in extremely clean facilities, like one speck of dust could ruin everything clean, it becomes the foundation for billions of microscopic switches called transistors. These transistors are the building blocks of microchips. In modern chips, these transistors are measured in nanometers. That is so small that if you dropped one, you would not only fail to find it, you'd fail to find the idea of it. Current leading-edge chips pack tens of billions of transistors into something smaller than your fingernail. So what do transistors do? Simple. They switch. That's basically it. On or off. 1 or 0. The world's most powerful binary light switch. When you put billions of these little switches together, they represent bits of information, those famous ones and zeros computer scientists love so much. The microchip processes these bits at unbelievable speed. Imagine having one light switch. Easy. Now imagine 10 light switches. Still manageable. Now imagine billions of them flipping on and off, trillions of times per second. That's a microchip. Transistors use an electrical charge to control whether current flows or not. When the chip wants to represent a 1, current flows. For a 0, it doesn't. It's like Morse code, but instead of a telegraph machine, it's a microscopic rave in a silicon nightclub. The arrangement of these transistors forms logic gates, and, or, not, NAND, nor. They sound like IKEA furniture, but they're the fundamental logic tools that make all computation possible. Combine enough of them, and suddenly you can add numbers, store values, process images, and yes, even run games. Once you have billions of transistors, you need a way for them to talk to each other, kind of like a massive group chat, except productive. This is handled by layers of microscopic copper or aluminum wiring, known as interconnects. These wiring layers, sometimes more than 15 layers deep, carry signals through the chip like tiny electrical expressways. And just like real expressways, they can get congested, which is why engineers spend their lives inventing wild new designs to make everything run faster without melting into a shiny puddle. These wires aren't just little, they are absurdly tiny, far thinner than a strand of DNA. When you zoom in far enough to see them, it looks less like a chip and more like a cyberpunk city grid. Lights switching, signals zipping, billions of electrons running around like they're late for work. to keep everything from overheating, because billions of transistors flipping is basically the world's smallest rave. Chips use various cooling techniques, from thermal paste to tiny copper heat spreaders to full-blown liquid cooling systems, if you're really into watching temperatures drop. A microchip isn't just a hermit. It needs to talk to the rest of the device. That's where pins, contacts, and interfaces come in. These allow the chip to send and receive signals. When your device gives the chip instructions, like open camera, play music, or embarrass me with autocorrect, the chip translates electrical signals into operations. It fetches data, processes it, and sends results back out, all in fractions of a second. Inside a CPU, specialized sections handle different tasks. ALUs, arithmetic logic units, do math so you don't have to. Registers hold data temporarily, like the world's tiniest post-it notes. Caches store frequently used data for quick access. Control units manage the entire flow of instructions, like stressed office managers. Even though microchips feel magical, everything they do boils down to switching transistors and moving electrical signals around really, really fast. No pixie dust, no tiny gremlins that we know of, just physics and engineering. Microchips may be small, but they are packed with more complexity than an entire season of a dramatic TV show. And next time your phone lags, just remember, those billions of transistors are trying their absolute best. They're microscopic, they're tired, they're flipping on and off faster than you blink. Cut them some slack, and that's the magic and science of how microchips work. If you learned something new about the MVPs doing the work, for you to watch this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and that's all for today. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.